Hi, hello everyone. It's nice to meet you all here in this great opportunity. We would like to deliver our idea entitled Virtual Class Drilling to Improve Public Speaking Skill of EFL Students in University. We are from Universitas Mulia Kudus, Central Java, Indonesia. The next explanation will be delivered by my partner.
Alright, ladies and gents, there are three big backgrounds of this research. For the first one, the poor ability of public speaking of EFL students in university becomes barrier for them in communication. The second one, the hard situation during pandemic makes students demotivated in learning. And the last one, speaking is one of basic skills in English which should be mastered by EFL students. Okay, good language skills need to be owned and learned by everyone. The abilities that students must have through learning Indonesian at school include four aspects of language skills, namely listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills. These four skills are expected to be mastered by students at a higher level. Learning English is essentially learning to communicate. Therefore, learning English is directed at learning to communicate. Therefore, learning English is directed at improving students' ability to communicate both orally and in writing. Language consists of several communicative actions that can be studied intensively through practice, and role playing. One of the important language skills taught and improved to students is speaking skill. The purpose of learning speaking skills is to train students to speak words orally, politely, well and correctly, and can convey thoughts effectively in official forums or in front of many people with confidence. One must muster self-confidence, courage, and strength by experiencing all that has never been done. Every event that students go through, no matter how small, will become strength and courage in the future by trying all stages of learning through practice and practice. Based on initial observation on the public speaking ability of English Education Department of Muria Kudus University students in the academic speaking class, it is known that the percentage of ability to convey ideas in front of people and official forums is still low, namely 65.27. In addition, students are also still lacking in linguistic aspects, which include accuracy of speech, use of pressure, tone, and rhythm of speaking, choice of vocabulary, views, expressions, and fluency in speaking. During the speaking learning process, when the researcher thought students had difficulty expressing their ideas through questions and answers, especially in expressing comments and answers, students are still passive and do not yet have the courage to speak. They must be pointed at with question in order to answer or speak. In speaking learning such as discussion and questions and answer, students have difficulty in expressing their thoughts and feelings fluently. Com- Compiling sentences hasn't been effective. Compiling the flow of speech hasn't been cohesive. Students still thinking for a long time when talking, while looking at text or notes and have not fully concentrated in developing speaking. The selection of the virtual class drilling technique is one way to improve students' speaking skills in public or public speaking, as stated by Kamat and Cooper 1989, that a learning strategy that allows students to develop competence in the target language is to use various techniques to help them understand, store, and recall new information and new skills. In addition, This technique is one of the strategies of learning process that is integral to several language skills such as writing, speaking, and role playing. The process of this learning activity allows students to express their ideas and abilities through the virtual class drilling techniques. Well, virtual class drilling technique is one way to improve students' speaking skill in public or public speaking. Kamat and Cooper, 1989, that a learning strategy that allows students to develop competence in the target language is to use various techniques to help them understand, store, and recall new information and new skills. While Kenny and Burke, 1998, speaking is the process of building and sharing meaning through the use of verbal and nonverbal symbols in a variety of contexts. Okay, next idea is about public speaking. Well, speaking is one of the important skills which has to be mastered by all students. As one of the major skills needed in the world communication today, speaking emphasizes in oral performance. It is a productive skill that can be directly and empirically observed. Brown, 2004, 172, states that speaking consists of some spoken components used also as the assessment. They are grammar, fluency, pronunciation, vocabulary use, and comprehension, or content. Those components give a big role for non-native English speakers. According to Kenny and Burke, 1998, speaking is the process of building and sharing meaning through the use of verbal and nonverbal symbols in a variety of contexts. It is a crucial part of the language learning process, and it also the one skill which has often been neglected in English as foreign language classroom. Oral performance is a priority in everyday English communication. Speaking seems intuitively the most important of all the four language skills: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Since people who know a language are referred to as a speaker of that language, as if speaking included all other skills of knowing that language. You are 1996. In other words, a learner's end product of language learning is to be capable of speaking the target language fluently. Begate 1987 3 explains that knowing or learning a language centrally involves being able to speak it, or the common claims that language pedagogy and linguistics prioritize the study and teaching of the vernacular. Within an applied linguistic or teacher education program, the study of speech also needs to develop an understanding of pedagogical options in promoting oral abilities. This implies developing in students a critical awareness of the range of approaches for the teaching of speaking, from the more controlled, teacher-centered approaches that are available to the more unscripted, exploratory approaches that are being developed, in which the teacher's role is more that of setting challenges, facilitating work, monitoring progress, and providing formative and where necessary summative feedback. The important focus concerns the impact of oral tasks in channeling students towards various aspects of spoken language and their use, notably distinct discourse pattern, distinct sets of lexicogrammatical features, distinct interaction patterns, different modes of processing, encouraging students to concentrate as needed on the fluency, accuracy, or complexity of their speech. From the learner's perspective, speaking is the most complex and difficult task among the language skills, since their preparation should include knowledge about the language and the skills involved. Is the most complex Okay, it's the most complex and difficult task among the language skills since their preparation should include knowledge about the language and the skills involved in using it. Begate 1987. EFL students argue that within the four language skills, speaking ability is the one that students thought they should improve. This is what makes public speaking is important to master by students. Public speaking is the process of delivering topics in front of more people or the audiences, whether in the classroom for students or in a certain occasion or an event or in the working place. As students, this ability will be very useful when they have to deal with their assignment from their lecturers to be presented or shared in front of the class. The success of public speaking is if the message delivered can be received by others clearly.
As it has been stated in the previous slide, virtual class drilling is engaging students in online discussion, providing specific information for students and teacher, and supporting knowledge constructing assignment. The class activities deal with one of public speaking skills. It is speech. Now we will discuss further about the design of the study. To obtain the deep result, the study uses classroom action research, once as a reflective way for the researchers in their teaching evaluation. As Hopkins 1993 argues that CAR is a reflective study which has parallel cycle in doing the treatment. It begins with reflecting process on the teaching and learning activities impact which have been carried out. 39 students of English Education Department, Universitas Muria Kudus, became the subject of the study, and the research was conducted in academic speaking class in semester 4. The displayed figure is the cycle based on Hopkins 1993. So the research began with planning, and then action or observation, and then go to the reflection. Once it hasn't been perfect yet, so the cycle will be repeated in the next cycle to get the better result. Now we come to the result and discussion of this study. The research data was obtained through an oral speaking test in the form of speech performance for English Education Department students in the academic speaking class. The factors that are observed and assessed in improving speaking skills through speech performance are linguistic and non-linguistic factors. In this study, 3 cycles were conducted to achieve significant improvement of the students' speaking skill. So here's the next slide will be explaining about the further result. In this slide, we'll display the figures shows the improvement of the speaking skill through score average in every cycle. As we can see that these 4 blocks of diagram of graphic reflects the preliminary score, average score, and then cycle 1, average score, and then cycle 2 and cycle 3. There is significant improvement start from the preliminary condition into cycle 3. and then it has significant improvement in cycle 3. After doing treatment assessment in the first cycle, the performance of student was different. There was progress, even it was not much. They have better intonation and pronunciation compared with preliminary tests. However, it was not significantly improved, and other aspects like diction, fluency, body language are still needed to be drilled more. From this result, the researchers decided to continue the treatment to the next cycle by focusing on all points such as pronunciation, intonation, diction, fluency, and body language. The treatment was done intensively. The rehearsal activity was done in peer by reviewing each other, so they got feedback from their partner before checked by the lecturer and accepting further feedback. Some are still difficult in combining the verbal production and non-verbal production. Due to this factor, students were encouraged to upgrade their understanding about the content they deliver, so the verbal production such as pronunciation, intonation, and diction will be improved. Then, the performance of students after the second cycle was much more better than the previous cycle. They had better pronunciation, intonation, and diction. Furthermore, their fluency is also improved well. Those results, the increase of score average from student speech performance. Those improvement motivated them to ask more feedback dealing with their performance to make them better. Based on the interview with the students, it was gained the conclusion that they were still hard to improve their body language during the speech performance because it broke their focus in the middle of speech delivery. Besides, facing camera in delivering the speech was much more difficult than facing the real audiences in offline meeting. They were hard to focus their eye contact to the camera and to maximize face expression to support their performance. Since the students were motivated more to get better skill, then the researchers tried to achieve another better result for the students' skill by doing the third cycle. The treatment focused on the body language aspect to support the performance. To reach the maximum result, the treatment was done directly, virtually, face-to-face practice via WhatsApp video call. The previous treatments were different. In the first and the second cycle, the researchers used Zoom virtual meeting. It segmented each session and overall meeting, while in the third cycle, it was using WhatsApp video call, personally one by one. It took time, but students got comprehensive input and feedback. They should put half of their body in the frame of camera so their performance will be seen completely. The aspect which were becoming the difficulties to do the speech delivery had been coped by the students well through the treatment given in the third cycle. Those progresses of students in all treatment indicate that their motivation in learning has not been gone, even the learning process conducted virtually. As a result, the drilling in virtual class is able to improve students' public speaking skill, especially speech performance or speech delivery. These slides and the next slides are the pictures or the photos when we had the sessions for having the first cycle in doing together sessions, via Zoom virtual meeting, and then the next in the peer or in the segmented session or specific session, until the last or the third cycle by having WhatsApp video call. from the 3 cycles and 3 treatments done by the researchers and the result gained, it can be concluded that virtual class drilling becomes effective technique to keep running the speaking class, especially during this pandemic era. Students feel motivated and show the improvement in public speaking skill, especially speech performance or speech delivery. Aspects which become barriers in their performance, such as pronunciation, intonation, diction, fluency, and body language, have been overcome well, and it affects positively their self-confidence. This could be a very prospective issue for further research to conduct study for another public speaking skill like making an effective presentation. So this is the end of the presentation.